Wale Edun fired as finance minister, replaced by Taiwo Ayodele. Now, let me bring you up to speed with all you need to know, because what just happened under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, minor cabinet reshuffle, is something much deeper. In this case, Wale Edun did not resign. Although the presidency, through the special advisor on communication and strategy, has come out to make a disclaimer, but then Wale Edun was removed by the authority of the president, and the directive was communicated formally through the secretary to the government of the federation, George Agume. And rumor has it that Wale Edun had wanted to resign, but was told to wait for a replacement. So, this is a tale of politics. A story people often ignore while in power, but remembered in silence the moment the office is gone. So today we talk about Wale Edun, his role, his decisions, his achievements, his failures, and sadly, the harsh reality of power, where a man is removed today, and by tomorrow, people are already mocking him. They are even staging his demise while he's very much alive. So let's go straight to the point. And this is the gist. So, on April 21st, 2026, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu approved what was officially described as a minor reshuffle of cabinet. Wale Edun, who was in charge of our economy since 2023, was removed from his position as Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, and immediately, Taiwo Ayodele, who was already in the system as Minister of State, was elevated to take over. So officially, the government says this is about better coordination and improved delivery. Now, let's talk about Edun's performance, because this is where the real pressure is built. Now, Wale Edun was at the center of Nigeria's economic reform. He was instrumental to fuel subsidy removal. He was a big part of fiscal restructuring. He made big decisions. But now, with what outcomes? And this is where the problem started. Now, we are talking about decisions as budget allocations, budget that were approved but never released. We are talking about revenue projections, not in billions, but in trillions. We are discussing cash flow issues, delayed payments in an economy where inflation kept rising and the naira kept struggling. So at some point, the question becomes simple: who takes responsibility? And in this case, this is where the pressure sat squarely on Edun's decks. So Edun, in trying to explain the situation, may have forgotten another rule of power from the 48 Laws of Power, Law 38. Think as you like, but behave like others. Because in government, you can know numbers, you can understand the gaps, but the moment your words begin to differ from the tone at the top, it is no longer seen as explanation. It starts to look like you're stepping into law number 1, which says, never outshine the master. Not because you intended to, but because perception in power is everything. Now let's gather here and understand what really shifted. Before Wale Edun eventually left office, something has already been happening behind the scenes. Key responsibilities were gradually taken away from him. Now, not removed, but reassigned. Reassigned to the Minister of State for Finance, Doris Uzoka. Now, we are talking about core functions like revenue generation. We're talking about domestic debt management. We're talking about cash flow oversight. Even areas tied to custom and revenue distribution. All this were taken away from him. And these are the control points of the economy. So imagine this. You're still holding the title of the coordinating minister, but the real levers of control are no longer fully in your hands. Now think about that. Now, there came the turning point. The points they don't want you and I to know. During the Federal Executive Council meeting in December 2025, tension reportedly came on surface, and this is what was the problem. They complained about poor budget releases, that is meaning that money that had been approved did not get to the ministries, and that is why most of these ministries are not functioning. In the middle of all that pressure, a heated exchange reportedly broke out between Edun and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, according to multiple sources, right? Voices they said were raised, explanations were being made. And according to reports, allafrica.com, not me, the tension became intense that the intervention of the ADC was needed, who actually told Edun to mind the way he's talking to the president. From that moment, insiders suggest that things were no longer the same because that was the beginning of the middle of the starts of the problem. That did not stop there. What made the situation even more delicate was Edung's public candor. So at a time when the government was projecting optimism that Nigeria was going to meet its revenue targets, concerning that issue, Edung came out to say something very different. That instead of the 40 trillion as projected, the country was only on track to generate 10 trillion naira. And he also said that a large part of the capital budget was not being funded, meaning that projects will simply be pushed forward. Now, that may have sounded like honesty, but apart from being a contradiction of narrative, in Nigerian politics, that is regarded as disloyalty. And again, Edung forgot the 38th law of the 48 laws of power. Think what you like, but act like others. Because when the presidency is saying one thing and the finance minister is presenting another thing, it creates visible tension. So when you put all this together, reduce authority, internal confrontation, the public statements that did not align with the tone of the presidency, then the outcome begins to make sense. So, just to be clear, this is according to multiple reports and insider accounts. And in the end, power is not just about how you lead it. It is about how you live it. And many only understand that when it is already over. It is a truth at a time. Take care and have a nice day.